There's always a delay. All right, let me go over to the chat. What's going on, YouTube? Let's do a quick roll call. Merry Christmas, everybody. We got John Camper. What's up, brother? My brother, Chef Stacker LA, OTG, Art Collector Niels, Tooley's in the house. Thank you for that super chat. Niels, what's up? Nickel, my nickel. Gold Chick, just stack it. Silver Crown's in here. Speaking of Silver Crown, we have a very special guest today. Link in the description below. What's up, Bob? Silver and Cigars. Welcome in, everybody. Transient, hello. We got the Silver Crown. Now, I found her a while ago. She did a live stream the other night when I was at work, and I knew she was smart, but damn, like she is one smart cookie. So we have a lot in common. For those of you who don't know her, she's smart as a whip. We're going to talk about that. She understands the importance of stacking, and her link is actually in the description below. So go check her out. Don't just sub to her, watch her. She's really smart. And with that, Merry Christmas. Thanks for coming on.
Merry Christmas. Hello, everybody. And thank you for on your show. I appreciate that.
I appreciate you being here. So first of all, what'd you do for Christmas? I got to know.
Well, I cooked a standing roast, which I did not like. I didn't like the texture of the meat. And I made some roasted potatoes and pan gravy and broccoli, greens, and collards that I grew in my own garden last year. And that was about it, because my husband and I, all of our family is out of town or working, live out of town or working. And so we didn't want to overdo it by cooking too much food. So that's all I cook. Normally, it would be ridiculous around here. But since it was just the two of us, I just decided to do something smaller, a lot smaller. So that's what I did. We just kind of hung out and listened to Christmas songs and watched movies and talked on the phone, a lot of text messages all over the country and out of the country. And that was it. That's how we spent our day.
I get the vibe that you said you didn't want to do too much. You still went all out and had a nice feast. You just seem that type. You seem like that neighborhood mom thing to me, like where all the kids would go growing up. But you're going to respect mama in her house, or she's going to put you in line. Like you seem like that type to me. So I get that neighborhood mom vibe. What's up, Homestead? Am I right on that at all?
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you came in my house, you were going to behave. So
and you were going to get fed, probably.
Yeah, you're going to get fed and you're going to behave. Yep.
Yeah, that's funny. So we were talking a little bit backstage about reaching people, about like you have a lot to say about the bank. So if you don't mind talking about that, I'd like to hear about that. But we're talking about the hardest group of people to meet, and we both agree it's the woke generation. Am I right?
It is. My experience has been that the generations coming behind me, I'm considered a boomer. And the generations coming behind me, a lot of them are very ignorant to what's going on. Now, I've seen some, I don't have TikTok, but these TikTok videos keep coming across my feed. And I'm seeing where a lot of young people are finding that they're not able to make ends meet, even if they're making what would have been considered a decent buck, 3 years ago. They're making the same money, but it's not keeping up with inflation. And they're finding out that they don't know how they're going to make it. And what I'm finding out, and they're also finding out, is that they also don't have very many life skills. They don't know how to grow food. They don't know how to sew. They don't know how to make their own clothes. They don't know how to, preserve food. There's skills that we learned coming up. When I was coming up and we went to school, there was subjects that we had to take. It wasn't an elective. We had to take home economics. They taught us how to cook and how to sew. And the boys did auto mechanic and woodwork shop and stuff like that. So we grew up knowing how to take care of ourselves. We had life skills. And the kids coming up behind us now, they don't have that. And not only do they not have that, but a lot of them don't want to listen to the older generations when we try to help them and teach them that turning on your computer isn't going to feed you. You have to know how to grow food. There are things you have to learn how to do. And so now they're finding out when they go to the grocery store that if eggs are costing them $8 a dozen, well, maybe it's better to have hens if you can. I've had hens for 6 years. I don't buy eggs. I haven't bought eggs unless I was traveling and forgot to take some of my hens' eggs with me. Then I might stop and buy some, but that's very, very rare.
And and yours are probably truly free range and cage free. I'm assuming, right?
They are free range. They are free range. And I live in the city. So it's not a big town. It's only like 121,000 people in this town. When I moved here, there was only something like 79,000.
Well, yeah, they all came because the neighborhood mama was there and they wanted to get in on that action, of course.
Yeah, so I have some chickens, and I can't have a rooster because they're too noisy. But I get laying hens because I didn't want I did not want to have to buy eggs, and that was before the price of eggs got crazy. So I didn't want to have to buy eggs, and then it just when prices and things started going crazy, I started bartering with people. I knew a lady that had she was very, very good with gardening. She was doing better than I was, and she had a lot of tomatoes, and I wanted tomatoes and she wanted eggs. So we switched. She gave me 12 tomatoes. I gave her 12 eggs, and that's what you do. That's what you learn to do. So
that sounds like barter to me. So
it was bartering. Yeah.
I didn't catch this, Thule. I thought it was $4.99, $49.99, and Matt sent me $20. You guys are fantastic. That's very generous. Thank you. I'm getting up there in age, so I don't see decimals like I used to. That's very generous. Thank you, guys. So you said you are part of a group. Like, what did you say it was? Concerned Citizens, I think you said.
It's a group that actually it did not start out that way. It was part of a precinct group, and it was being sponsored by another lady and her husband, and they just got sick of it, and the people kind of got sick of them because they fixated on a political opponent that they wanted to oust. And I understood that, and I understood why they wanted to get this guy out, because he was a very, very left-leaning individual. It would stand right next to you and vote against your constitutional rights. So they were right in wanting to out him, but there was a process in place to do that, and they weren't really wanting to go through the process. So I felt like we needed to go through the process, and the people kind of got tired of them not wanting to go through the process. So they asked me to take over the group, and then they did some redistricting here in the county and in the city, and these people lost their precinct, and so it kind of booted them out. And then the people came to me and asked me to head up the group, and I'm like, I wasn't really thinking along those lines, but okay, if that's what you want. And so I ended up, I really felt like God told me to take the mind of the people in a different direction, that they were fixated on something that there was already a process for, and that they needed to focus on how to become less dependent upon the systems of the world. And so that's where my focus has been for the last 2.5 years. And I just called it, Concerned Citizens. And it was bringing in people from all different counties, from all over the state were coming to these meetings, which I thought was kind of odd, but I guess the people in their area weren't talking about these things. And I did have some people, it was a real mixed group. I had doctors and I had business owners and all that. And we didn't meet last month. I said we wouldn't be meeting in December. I don't know if I'm going to continue it or not. I'm praying about whether I should or not. But anyway, so my focus really had been on trying to bring awareness to people as to what direction the country was going in, and what they needed to do to help cushion the blow. Because if you're living on this planet, you're going to go through this, but it's how you go through. And so, I don't feel like God put me here to shine the brass on a sinking ship. I'm going to do what I can to have the best quality of life that I can in the middle of all the craziness that's going on. And I'm just trying to help as many people as I can do that. Man, everybody's situation is different. So.
You're right. And I like what you just said. There's a guy that used to have a YouTube channel. YouTube actually canceled his channel, but There's a guy named Chris Dwayne, and one thing he used to say, he was extreme for a lot of people, but he was right about a lot of things. And he always said, just because the world's messed up, yours doesn't have to be. And I really like that. What's up, Broke Stacker? Now, you said something in your last live stream that I really, really liked, and it's something I say too. You talked about, because you've been in a lot of different countries, and you've lived in a lot of different countries. You talked about how people that think, this country is oppressive have never been anywhere else. I mean, there's a reason people want to come here, Right. So if you want to talk about that, share that experience. Also, maybe what you said backstage about our buddy Barack, because everyone on this channel knows that I'm definitely right-leaning. There's problems with the right, but I am very anti-liberal. I think it's damaging to people, and I'm very outspoken about it. Some people don't like that about me. I don't care, because those are the ones I don't need in my life. But there's problems on the right. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But what did you say about what you learned from Joe Biden about race and voting? Well, I like what you had to say about that.
Well, concerning Joe Biden, I was telling some younger people that voted for him, and now they have buyer's remorse. I said, here's the thing. I tried to tell you not to vote for this man. And I said, you have to understand that my generation has been alive for his whole career. We know what he's about. So most of us don't vote for this guy, because we know what he's about, and he's not about the people. Okay. I said, you haven't been alive long enough, and you certainly haven't done your homework about who this guy is and what he's really about. And then when it came to Barack Obama, who just showed up out of nowhere, I'm like, who is this guy? And everybody was all up in arms and just, this is great, the first Black president. And I'm going to tell you something. I had never heard of Barack Obama. I'd never seen him before. I'd never heard any of his speeches, didn't know anything about him being a community organizer, none of that. But I decided to listen to what he said. And something that he said just kept sticking in my craw. He says, I'm going to fundamentally change America. And that just stuck with me because it was so vague and ominous at the same time. And I kept asking the question, what exactly does he mean by that? What does he mean he's going to fundamentally change America? First of all, who asked him to do that? And second of all, what needs to be changed? He never said how he was going to do it. He never said what changes he wanted to bring. He didn't say any of that. It was all very vague, very emotional. And that's the thing, Black people can be very emotional, and he knew that, and he played on that. Some of us are more intellectual than we are emotional. So I was listening while he was talking. And he did not get my vote, not either time, because I had all kinds of people saying, you should be proud. He's the first Black president. Give the brother a chance. I said, not that brother. He's dangerous to this republic. He's too vague. He's too 100. Vague in what he's saying, what he means. I'm not voting for him. I wasn't voting for him. And then I looked at Romney, and I thought, and I told a friend of mine in Texas, she was leaning toward Romney, and I said, that man is a wolf in sheep's clothing, and he got half his clothes off. I'm not voting for him either. And then I was looking at Hillary Clinton, and everybody, the first woman. I said, she's a practicing witch. What is wrong? Sorry, I can't do it.
I'll tell you what. If people want a Black president and a woman president, why not something like somebody like Candace Owens? I could live with Candace.
She kind of wasn't around at the time,
Right. But I'm just saying. I mean,
she came about later.
I like Candace. I like Kristi Noem. I like. There's a few I like. I mean, honestly, I'd rather vote for Noem than Trump. I'm going to be honest with you, because I have an issue with Trump. I think he ran the country well in a lot of ways, but I'm very, very big on the Second Amendment, and he did the Second Amendment no favors. And that is not what he was elected to do. That was part of his running stuff. But given the choice between him and Joe Biden, I mean, that's a no-brainer. But I'd like someone like Noam, someone who hasn't, trampled my Second Amendment, because to me, that's a very, very big conservative value.
Yeah.
And the forever Trumpers have a real hard time holding him accountable for that. Well, you know, if your guy did something wrong, your guy did something wrong. You got to hold him accountable for that, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah, I agree. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, I'm not into idolatry. I don't do group think, and I'm not a groupie. You know, and so I tend to make up my own mind about people. I don't care which way the herd is running. You know, my whole
Right.
life I've run in the opposite direction.
Well, and it's like you just said. When Obama said he's going to fundamentally change America, you were smart enough to step back and say, "What does that mean?" He's being
what
vague,
does he mean by that?
and the vast majority of people, they don't ask those questions. They don't hear those things. Like, you know, there was things on the voting ballot. Like, how do I say this for YouTube? Okay, so I remember in Oregon, where I live, I was a teenager, and there was something on the ballot about putting adult, you know, stores next to schools, and I agreed that was a bad idea. But the reason I didn't vote yes on that, you want to know why? You want to know why? Only one reason. Because it didn't specify what happens if there's already a business established there and a school decides to build in that vicinity. What happens to that business? And it's just like what you said about being vague. It didn't specify on that. So I'm like, well, you know, we need some specification. We need some clear cut, you know, language. We need transparency. And a lot of times with bills and candidates, they give you a little bit, but they're not completely transparent. So you don't know what you're going to get.
Right. Right. We have a newly elected senator. He was sworn in last week. And I was asked to do, at our Concerned Citizens group, I was asked to do a candidate forum. And I thought, okay, so, you know, we have Democrats running for the seat and we have Republicans running for the seat. They all said that they were Republicans, but when you look into their voting record and they voted left their whole political careers, just because they switched parties 2 weeks prior doesn't make them Republican or Libertarian or anything else. They're still Democrats, you know. I will never vote for a Democrat, like ever. When I look at their platform and what they
can't
believe
either.
in, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I think, and the Republican Party has a lot of problems because there's a lot of rhinos in it. There are a lot of people that are, you know, Republican in name only. They don't respect the Republic, first of all. They vote against your constitutional rights, and that's all you got to do one time, and you lose me as a voter. So, but anyway, so I did this candidates forum, and this guy, he's a very godly man. He's a young man. I think he's definitely younger than my kids. And I'm very proud of him. You know, I was texting him about 10 minutes before he was on the Senate floor getting ready to swear in. I texted him and I said, I'm tuned in. I'm sitting here tuned into my computer waiting for you to take that oath. And he did. And I texted him and I said, we're very proud of you, praying for you, that God will direct your steps and keep you honest. Don't let him change you, you know? And so, but at the forum, I asked him some very, very hard questions concerning abortion, concerning, you know, pornography in the schools, because we have that as an issue here in Oklahoma. Just different things like that, and let me tell you this, none of the other candidates showed up. He was the only one that showed up. One of the things that I did was I wrote them all. I will not be getting the questions ahead of time. I don't want you to give me some pre-written script of what you think I want to hear. So I'm just letting you know what areas you're going to be questioned on, but I will not tell you the questions. And so nobody showed up except him. They went to all the other ones where it was big money, dark money coming in to finance their campaigns. They outspent him by thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars, and he won by a landslide.
That's awesome. I don't know if you're reading the chat, by the way. Thank you, Tiger. Everyone in this chat really likes you. I don't think they've found you until now. Y'all got to check out some of her work. She is one smart cookie. I dig her. I think you're great. So you're very much aware that the bank is not a trustworthy institution these days. Do you want to see her eyes get all big? So you want to talk about that a little bit? Because I think you got a lot to say about that.
Well, several years back, I just started getting this feeling in my gut because I saw, and this is when Barack Obama was in office. I saw what was happening, with first of all, in 2009, when they did that, 2008, when everything crashed. And then he took office and did this massive, all these companies that mismanaged the funds of their clients. It was ridiculous. And I'm watching this and I'm saying, yeah, you know what? This is legalized theft. They are stealing the money of the people. So my husband and I started talking about what do we need to do to safeguard our finances. So we really just took it to God. I feel like everything I have belongs to him. I'm just stewarding everything, and Lord, what do you want me to do with this is your money. If you don't do something, they're going to steal it. So anyway, we started talking about what else we should do, how, what's going on with the banks. And I didn't have clear direction, but I had enough direction to tell people, watch your money. Watch your money. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. The old folks used to tell us that. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, And I used to think of, why not? Who wants to make 12 trips? You get a dozen eggs. Why not put them all in one basket? Well, if you drop the basket, you lose all your eggs. So my thought was, if the bank crashes and my money is in it, I might lose everything. Now, let me tell y'all something, you guys in the chat. Let me tell you something. There is a false sense of security about the banks having insurance that will cover your money. Okay, let me tell you a couple things. Number one, they will cover your money up to a certain point. After that, you're on your own. If you have up to $250,000, they're supposed to cover it. But here's the problem. If the treasury is empty, what are they going to cover it with? All they can do is print more money. Okay. So don't get me started on that one. The other thing is, if you have a safe deposit box in the bank, the box is covered by insurance. Your content is not. They don't know what's in it. How are they going to cover it? So
correct. Yep. They
don't know what's in that box. Your content is not secure. So when we started getting this nasty feeling in the pit of our gut about the banks, we pulled everything out of our safe deposit boxes. Said, nope, that's it. No, they're going to take it. We're taking it out. And then after that, we heard about what was happening in California, where they were taking people's safe deposit boxes content and not giving it back and telling them, you want it, you're going to have to go to court and fight us for it. That was happening in California, and I'm like, oh my God.
I remember that was an FBI sanctioned event. Absolutely.
Oh,
You're absolutely right.
That was a mess. That was a mess. So I thought, yeah, not today. You ain't getting mine. So
well, listen, the other thing too is they're not covering a lot of scams now until the media is being brought in. KeyBank and Chase are becoming the worst for that.
Right. And Bank of America is horrible.
They're horrible.
Goodness. They stay in the news. So it's Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, that has been around for over 100 years.
Terrible.
Citigroup. These banks, these are criminal cartels. I mean, in my opinion, they are criminal enterprises. When they can keep doing this kind of stuff and keep ending up in the news and nobody ever goes to prison. What is that?
Very seldom. I mean, a couple people have gone to jail on the Chase Bank silver spoof orders, but not enough.
They were sacrificial lambs. That's all.
Yep. That's right.
All that was. They had to throw something out there so the public wouldn't be in too big of an uproar. But they don't
I agree.
care.
They don't
care. And they could tell the public that these people went to jail. We don't know where they went. They could have gave them a ticket to Tahiti somewhere and said, well, just disappear. We'll give you a new name and a new identity. We don't know.
I mean, I agree with you. I mean, yeah, we don't know. I mean, one hand washes the other. They're all in it together.
Right. That's right. So I was looking at some of the comments in one of your videos, and one person was saying that he has or she has a lot of businesses, so they depend on the banks. Now I get it. I understand that. So when I say get your money out, what I'm saying is because you're living in the real world and you have to do real business with whatever vehicles are available. What I'm saying is you need to safeguard as much as you can by putting things in more tangible assets than just being solely dependent upon the banks. Because as they have proven to you, they can fail over and over and over again, and they don't have to give you anything back. You know, they've already done this whole legalized theft, and there's nothing you can do about it once they take it. And so, and they're not. It's not just happening here. What I was doing in my group every month is I was doing a lot of research as to what was happening in these other countries. And Nigel Farage, the one who was very instrumental in spearheading Brexit, if you guys have heard about Brexit, they closed his accounts. They took his money, closed his accounts, and he said they're trying to force me out of my country. They want him to be a non-person because he's so outspoken against the criminality and all this stuff that's going on in Europe with the EU and all this. And they're trying to make him a non-person. And this is what they'll do. So if they do things like that to people that are very powerful, have a very vocal platform, and that are not broke, these people are people of means, and they can shut them out of the system like that. They can do it to you. And so my whole thing is just trying to teach people to consider other ways. Whatever you have, that's what they want. It doesn't matter if it's a lot or if it's a little, whatever you have, that's what they want. And so I'm just trying to help people understand that and think of ways to safeguard their finances. So let me just put this one thing in here while I'm thinking about it. One of the last meetings that I had with my group, I said, I want you to look at whatever money you have in the bank, under your mattress, wherever it is. Look at that and say, if I never got another dime that came into my account or came into my household, how long can I live off of what I have? Ask yourself that and act like that is the last bit of money that's coming into your house, and you'll start thinking differently about how you're spending it, how you're eating, what you're eating, and all that, how you can cut cost. If you don't start doing that now, and then it shows up on your doorstep that suddenly Social Security's been cut off, or you've lost your job, or you had some kind of catastrophic injury, there's no more money coming in. Now it's on your doorstep. Now it's too late to be thinking about what will I do if it happens, because it has happened. So start thinking like that now. And then when it happens, right, it won't be such a terrible blow to you and your family. That's all.
I agree with you, you know, and you were talking about the comments in the videos. So there's been this user something new channel. I think he's a troll. He's very promoting of the banks, and you responded. You go, "What's your last name?" Yellen, and I thought that was funny. And this guy told me, or I'm assuming it's a guy. I mean, it could be a girl, but it's probably a bot. But this person told me, he goes, "Oh, the government's going to take all your silver and all your gold because you make videos about it. You should trust the banks." I'm thinking, number one, they're not coming to my house, getting in my safes, taking my money, especially while I'm here, because that'll be the end of me. I'm telling you right now. Number two, you know,
I'm sorry, that's not funny. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, you know, that's my wealth. I've worked my whole life for that. But you know, he really believes there's going to be confiscation, and I do have to use the restroom real quick. So after I say this, I'm gonna step away for 2 seconds. But I want to see what you got to say about this. It's pretty hard to take what A, they don't know I have, and B, I mean, they don't know. I could be lying. It could be someone else's silver I'm renting for my videos. It's not. It's all mine. And number two, he puts all this pro bank stuff, and I'm thinking, man, yes, I use the banks. I have high yield savings accounts, but my checking account, which is a credit union, I think I've got $1,200 in there, just enough for some bills. The rest of my wealth is either, and I do admit I have stock brokerage accounts. I have private bonds, not treasury bonds, that pay 7%, that I feel are pretty safe. But most of my money is with me. And he's very pro bank.
I was asking you for the link to my channel.
Oh, I've dropped it a couple times. Here, I'll do it again. It's right here.
If you go to YouTube and you just type in the Silver Crown,
A lot
natural.
comes up. It's hard to find you, but a direct link to her channel. Yeah, a direct link with her channel with one of her videos is in the description of this video. Don't worry about
They're trying
cigars.
to hide me. They've been shadow banning me for a long time.
Oh, me too. I mean, I'm just now coming out of a 6-month shadow ban.
Yeah, they've been messing with me for a long time now. So,
yeah, no, I get it. I get it, and that's why we need to build our Rumble channels, because we need somewhere to go once we're left holding the bag.
Yeah,
and it's slow going over there, but I'm doing it. Every week I'm putting videos out over there.
Yeah. So anyway, you guys, be thinking about that. I asked my kids that. My kids are like approaching 50, if you can believe that one. I can't even believe that one. But anyway, I was there. But I asked my kids, I said, if you didn't get another dime coming into your bank account, how long could you live on what you have? I said, just think about that. And I said, don't look at me. Act like I don't exist. Okay. How long could you live on what you have? And how long would you be thinking about, Mom told us, she told us, okay. So just think about that. And you need to be governing your life that way. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't wait until it affects you before you do something about it, because it's going to affect everybody one way or another. It just depends on how you prepare for it will determine how extreme the effect is on your life. And so, I can't protect everybody from everything, but I can certainly share what I know. Like I said, I taught a lady how to pressure can her own food on the internet. I told her, take your laptop and put it in your kitchen. I'm going to talk you through this. I told her everything she needed to get in order to preserve her food. And I said, I just need you to sit your computer where I can see what you're doing and I can talk you through how to do this. And so I did. And so that's been 2 or 3 years ago now. And she's gardening and preserving her own food. So anyhow, if you guys have questions for me, let me know and I'll do my best to answer if I can. If I can't, I'll be like, I don't know. If you find out, let me know.
I'm back. So yeah, you were talking about you teach people how to grow food inside that live in the city, and something else that I told you backstage that you didn't know until then is you're like me. You like a lot of herbs and like natural healing. So when I was a teenager, I studied a lot of herbs, herbal medicine and stuff, and aromatherapy. And like if you're depressed, spray some orange oil, some citrus oil. It makes a difference. You were talking in your last stream. By the way, the best book I ever bought was called Herbs for Health and Healing by Kathy Keeble. Fantastic, highly recommend. Everything I've ever done in that book has worked. It cures what ails you, and you'll be healthier for it. And you were talking about when you were chewing the thyme leaves because it was an expectorant, and I've never done that, but I don't want to after that. But there is something amazing about natural medicine.
I had a lady text me yesterday that I know, and I asked her how was she doing, and she was sick. She said, I have bronchitis. She went to urgent care. They gave her shots of steroids. I'm like, oh. So anyway, I said, listen, do you have any thyme in your kitchen? She said, yes. I said, you have oregano? She said, yes. I said, do you have any mullein? She says, I have mullein tea. I said, okay, break your tea bag open. And I told her what to do. I said, break your tea bag open. I said, the mullein will help. I said, because it's an anti-inflammatory, and the thyme is an expectorant, and the oregano is an antibiotic. So you don't know if what you're dealing with is bacterial or viral. So we're just going to hit it from both ends. And so that was yesterday. And I told her, I said, drink this tea. It's going to suck. Okay. It's going to suck. It's going to be nasty, but drink it. Just try to gulp it down so you don't have to taste it. And I said, drink cup in the morning, one in the afternoon, and one before you go to bed. If you can't tolerate the taste, put a little bit of honey in it, and don't put the honey in it before you go to bed because it might keep you awake. I said, but put a little bit of honey in it and let me know how you're doing. She texted me today. She said, I'm doing better. She said, I'm not out of the woods, but I'm doing better. I said, good, keep at it. So there are things that you guys can do before you take a pill or before you take the advice of a doctor. Because I'm telling you, I think the VA and other doctors now, they just scraping the bottom of the barrel with the trashiest, most incompetent doctors.
Well, and
Ever run across.
And they're all getting kickbacks from the drug companies to write scripts. They don't want you healthy.
They don't, they don't want you healthy. They want to do sick care.
And
they
the
don't
truth
want to
is
do wellness.
Do you know, and when it comes to nutrition, doctors don't know jack unless that's their specialty, because, there's 40 hours for the average MD of nutrition training, and they'll tell you brown pasta is the same as white. No, it's not. They'll tell you all kinds of stuff that ain't true. Speak of the devil right there. The government will take your gold and silver. No, it won't, because nobody holds it. They will attach your electronic assets because it's easier. Eagle Steve, what up? But, the average MD goes through about 40 hours of nutrition training, and follow the money, because what they tell you is not correct. So a lot of them don't know, but a lot of them don't know that they don't know about health. That's what's scary. They don't know.
Until you ask them, something, then you'll find out they're quackadoodles. That's what a bunch of quacks.
Most of them don't know that they don't know. That's what's really sad. They're taught one thing. What's up, Southeast? Merry Christmas. They're taught one thing. Zardos, what's up? And they don't know that they don't know. And that's what's scary. So they're not doing it on purpose. They just don't know a lot of times.
Well, I don't blame them for what they don't know. I do blame them for what they don't want to find out.
I agree with you 100%. I told someone one time, I go, you need to figure out what you don't know and learn that. They go, well, how do I know what I don't know? I go, you sit down and ask yourself what you don't know about, and that's what you learn about. Hey, what do I need to know about that I don't know about? And find that, and then start looking into it. What's up, generic? Right. I mean, that's what I did. I know it sounds weird, but if you ask yourself, hey, what don't I know about? You can come up with a pretty big list of things to learn about. It's crazy.
Well, how I started getting into that was I was looking at what was happening during, the last 2 or 3 years where everybody was kind of stuck in their house. And I thought, most of our medication comes from China and India.
80 to 90% of our U.S. pharmaceuticals come from China. That's right.
And my thought was, if they get ticked off with us about something, anything, pick a struggle, right? And they decide they're going to delay shipment, or they're just not going to send shipment, or it's going to poison the shipment,
Yep.
Then what's everybody going to do? What about these people that are on this life-saving medication that suddenly they can't get it anymore? And I told my husband, I said, you know what? I don't want to be at the mercy of the VA. I don't want to be at nobody's mercy when it comes to my health. So I'm going to start looking into alternative medicine for the stuff that they got me on. What is an alternative to that, And I just started looking it up, and then I started consulting with naturopath doctors, and and that's what I did. And so I started making my own stuff. I thought, I'm gonna have this skill. I'm gonna teach myself this, because they ain't gonna have me over a barrel like that. Nope.
Well, and it's amazing. One of the best antibiotics you can ever have is fresh garlic bulb, not the oil, the bulb. I don't like garlic, so I have to take the powder in a pill, but I'll tell you what, it works better than amoxicillin. If you got an infected tooth, if you're sick, elderberry works great. Echinacea, golden seal, licorice root if you don't have high blood pressure. I mean, we're not healthcare advisors, obviously, but there's so much that you can do. And most of pharmaceuticals are originally derived from plants anyway. Most people don't know that either.
You made a good point a minute ago. You made a good point a minute ago when you mentioned licorice root if you don't have high blood pressure. And that is something else that people need to understand, that herbal medicine, herbs, it is still medicine. It's just natural. And so there are some things that if you have certain conditions, it is not good for you to take it. Licorice will raise your blood pressure. It is also an expectorant. So if you don't have high blood pressure, it's a good thing to take. If that's all you have, then you have to take something else to keep your pressure low.
Yeah,
So
like valerian root, maybe, because if valerian root keeps your blood pressure down for 24 hours, if you take it every night at bedtime, you're great.
it
Taurine
does.
and
Don't take it as right though.
taurine, an amino acid. That's all it is. You take 6 grams of taurine a day. Within 2 weeks, your blood pressure is way lower. But you have to take it on an empty stomach because the bioavailability of left-leaning amino acids sucks, especially if there's food in your system. There's just all kinds of stuff to know. Like NAC is a wonderful antioxidant, which is also an amino acid. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff out there, and you would be amazed if you tried a lot of these things over time. Not you and me necessarily, because we know, but there are so many natural, cures for things, not just Band-Aids, that are out there, and the side effects and the interactions are so low. And licorice root, yes, high blood pressure. Take some valerian root, you're good to go. I mean, it's very easy to treat those sides. Where pharmaceuticals, you're on 10 meds just to treat the sides.
Yeah, and not only that, but they give you those drug interaction forms, and you've got so many dangerous things that can happen to you from taking a medication. And they'll always preface it by saying, well, your doctor recommended this because the benefits outweighed the risk. Well, why'd you give me 4 pages of risk? What the heck is that? No thanks. I'm good.
Right. And when death is on there, it's like, well, you can't tell me the benefit outweighs that risk, I'm trying not to die.
It depends on where you're going.
Yeah, that's true. I hope I'm going north, not south, but sweet Jesus, I am a flawed man. Please forgive me, Father. I'm trying.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I don't have a whole lot more unless you want to talk about more. Actually, I do want to have a question. So, I assume you do have some silver, in your hand. When did you start understanding the value of metal and acquiring some? Do you remember?
Well, probably about 10 years ago.
Okay.
I just started reading up about it and trying to figure out what's the best way to go, and how to protect your assets and all that. My husband and I were business owners in Canada, and and you talking about that guy, Lord have mercy. Anyway, when I got there was a different prime minister, but the market crashed, and we were in Canada. My husband was Canadian. He's an American citizen now, and no, he didn't wade across the Rio Grande and sneak in the back door neither. So anyhow, yeah, we paid the money and we went through the process. But anyway, we wanted to protect our assets, even though there was a different prime minister at the time. And so we started looking into that and reading up on it, watching different videos about it. How do you do it? How much do you need? And all that. And a lot of it is really personal choice, preference, and need. It depends on what you have, what you want to do. Some people collect coins. Some people just stack metal. Some people just stack gold. Some people just stack silver. Some people just stack everything, including jewels and jewelry and watches. They're collectors. It depends on what you want to do and what a person feels like is their best course of action to protect their wealth. And
I'm laughing because of what you just said. Nickel stacking stacks all that stuff, so he's gonna get lit in the comments here. Yeah, metal, jewelry, and diamonds and stuff. I'm sorry. Go ahead. He likes ivory too. Go ahead. I'm sorry. That cracked me up. Yeah. See, Cigar says Nickel. She's talking about you. That's so funny. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I just had to say that.
So a person just really has to think about what they have. Are you doing it because you want to preserve wealth for legacy? What are you doing it for? And what do you want to do? What's your end game? And then that'll help point you in the right direction as to what course you should take for yourself or you and your family, because everybody is different. Everybody's needs are different. Everybody's interests and desires are different. Some people do not want to stack silver because they feel like with the amount of money that they have or the amount of assets that they have, that they want to turn into metal, that silver is too encumbered. And other people feel like, well, I can have 1 ounce of silver to 83 ounces. 1 ounce of gold to 83 ounces of silver. You know, it's easier for me to walk around with $2,000 worth of gold in my wallet than I'm trying to walk around with $2,000 worth of silver. I'm going to need a wagon, you know? And so it just depends. Some people want to put it in a vault. Some people say they are the vault, you know, and some people don't believe in vaulting their silver in an external place. I had a young man ask me about that, and I said, well, let me just ask you this, because I can't tell you what to do concerning your money, but I can ask you a question, give you something to think about. If your money is in a vault somewhere else under someone else's control, is it yours? Your name on it.
I could not agree more.
He says, well, what do you mean? I said, well, if you want it at 11 o'clock at night, can you go to that vault and get your stuff? He said, no. I said, then you don't control it. And if you don't control it, it's not yours. I said, so I'm going to just let you think about that. You know? And
it's just like these people that have financial advisors, you know, they're like, oh, they manage my investments. I say, well, what are you invested in? They're like, I don't know. My advisor takes care of it. And I said, you know, why don't you teach yourself this stuff? Because nobody's going to care about your money as much as you're going to care about your money. Right. I mean, that's why I got 2 big old safes bolted in, a home security system, cameras. You know, I mean, I ain't messing around. So you come in here and I don't answer the phone, they're going to send the cops. And you better hope they get here before me. Dear Lord, let me tell you what, because they're going to be a little more forgiving. But you have to, you absolutely have to take control and custody over your own stuff. I think a vaulting service is better than a safe deposit box, but I'm sorry, but I'm holding my metals and I'm going to secure them. And I pay $40, $50 a month for, you know, ADT. And to me, that's worth it because I got weapons too. I got stuff I don't want stolen, and I got good safes, but you know, it only buys you time. So you got to have a multi-layer security system.
Right. You and people really do need to think about that. You know, don't depend on your dog who might like biscuits.
Right.
And then you have some nut job come to your house and throw your dog some bacon, and then he's in. That's it. The dog is useless. You know.
That's right. What's up, Rocco?
Layers of security, you know, and so.
Absolutely. I mean, cigars. He's cracking a joke about the TL30 safe. You know, he's showing me his extra layer of security. Like he talks about in his videos how his safe is really hard to access. It is. You know, you've got to be smart. You've got to protect your assets. You know, I mean, it's just ain't nobody going to care about your money like you're going to care about your money. I really believe that.
Right. Yeah.
Well, hey, it is Christmas. We got 40 people in here, and everyone seems to love you. So I really hope that they actually watch your stuff because you are really smart. And I don't want to keep you too long, or anybody else. But this was great. Do you have anything else you want to say? And I'd be happy to do one with you on your show. I mean, this is great.
Oh, thank you. No, I don't have anything else to add. I think if people want to ask a question, if you go to my channel, my email is in the description box, and I answer all of my emails. And so Constitutional Stacker can tell you that because we've been talking back and forth through email. I answer all of my emails. So if you have a question you want to ask me, keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor. I can ask you some questions and get you thinking, you know, and I'll help you as much as I can with the information that I have, and I'll be happy to help you. And I hope you guys will come over to the Silver Crown and subscribe to the channel. And I guess I'll see you when you get over there. And if you come over there, make sure you put in the chat box that you met me here on Constitutional Stacker's channel, so I can put a plug in for him over there.
Also, she's on Rumble. Do you attach your Rumble link in your video descriptions? You should. That way people can find you over there.
I don't think it is because I hadn't really been doing anything over on Rumble. I don't know how to do a live on Rumble.
I haven't figured that out. I haven't figured that out yet either. I've watched some videos. I'm a little confused. I haven't done a live, but I got like 206 people over there. I get an average of 200 to 800 views per video. So
I think I have 11 people over there. I haven't been on Rumble on that channel in months.
Well, you should definitely make a video over there just to keep it alive because you know Google's going to boot you and me off at some point.
Yeah. It'll probably be your fault too.
It usually is. All right. Well, Merry Christmas, everybody. Thanks for popping by. Thank you for being here. Don't go away because we can talk for a minute in studio after the show if you have time. But this is great. Thank you so much. And I'm just going to say keep stacking, and you can close it out.
All right, you guys. Well, take care. Merry Christmas, everybody, and we'll see you guys next time.
See you.